This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. The lead stories tonight: FTC says Facebook is a monopoly for many years. Amazon's building shopping centers. The FTC is not emailing you about COVID payments. And facial recognition nabs a 15-year fugitive. I want to welcome you to episode 1547 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, August 19th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking it out. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Get subscribed to the podcast on the right-hand column of the website. We want you also to get subscribed to the newsletter while you're on the website. That way you can get the show notes delivered directly to your inbox immediately following the show. All the great content on the website as well, close with our partner podcast, like the New Media Show, the Gadget Professor, the GNC Week in Review, are all available at geeknewscentral.com. Check those shows out as well. But, of course, the most important thing is subscribe to the podcast. You can join our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's a Mastodon chat server, or our Discord channel. And of course, we are available just about everywhere else, including Slack. So if you want to be involved in that, just send me an email to geeknews@gmail.com. If you have comments about the show, that's a great way to get me feedback. geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, you can always do it on Twitter at geeknews. And you can follow me on Facebook. So, how's everybody doing? And we definitely got a great show in front of you today. And I want to take just a few moments before we get into the content. And I want to thank our sponsor, of course, our longtime sponsor, GoDaddy. Thanks for being a longtime sponsor here. Of course, we've got great deals that are available from GoDaddy. And I want you to take advantage of those to the best of your ability. Because every time you use one of my promo codes, guess what happens? It's like making a donation to the show. So definitely check that out. And I got to double check something here real quick. Yep, we're good. So if you get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, get on the page, what you're going to find are savings galore, whether it be a 30% off new product purchase at $4.99.com or newer transfer domains for new customers. $1 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. Do you realize how big of a deal this is? $1 a month for the first year, $12. There is no other place that exists on the internet today where you can start a brand new business, where you can get going online with a blog, you name it. Opportunities abound for $12. You know, you probably spend that much in coffee in just like 2 days a week. So please think about picking up a GoDaddy hosting account, whether it be that economy hosting, that managed WordPress hosting, or getting a .com for $4.99. Of course, you can always try the free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder. Your choice of personal business or business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. Again, all these promo codes can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Take advantage of them today. We definitely appreciate it when you do. We want to thank all of you that are longtime supporters of the show. And, of course, those of you taking care of the sponsor over at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. So I want to catch you all up here just a little bit. I got a little bit on my mind, too. Power's back on. So came on Tuesday afternoon, I think. Can't even keep track of the days right now. It's been a crazy work week. I've had my Okoli, which is my butt, planted to the chair in meetings and email, and we've got a lot going on with the company right now. Launching new products, just next week's going to be insane as well. The store next door, the weed shop, is opening here in a couple of weeks. They're training their employees. They're banging on the walls, doing all kinds of stuff. I don't know what they were doing over there today. So lots of that going on. Now, on the last show, I did not talk about really what was on my mind. And if you're watching my Facebook page, you probably had seen, some things I've been posting about what's going on in Afghanistan. And to kind of be frank, I'm torn in a big way. It's I'm not of the mind that leaving that country to those thugs once again is a good idea. But it is what it is. That's what's happening. So what do we have to do? What do we have to do as a country to make it right? There are literally thousands of good Afghani citizens that helped the United States in multiple ways. Translators, providing intelligence, doing just basic work. You name it. It ran the gambit. And the United States paid them for that work. It's a situation where, to this day, my involvement and what I did in Afghanistan cannot be talked about largely. Y'all knew that I flew, and that's, what I was involved in to a certain extent. And I've always said that when I got ready to retire from the Navy, that the gal that was doing my out chop, she basically had asked me if I had any regrets. And I had said, yeah, just one. And literally the one regret was the one that got away. And I won't go into too many details about that here on the show, but it's that one, which were probably thousands that got away, that someday may be the person that blows up a car in a city in New York or does something else crazy. There was blood and treasure, a lot of blood spilled. A lot of guys didn't come home. And I kind of now have got a little bit of taste of what Vietnam vets felt like when Saigon fell. And those images, still, I'm sure, haunt many of them today. But what's worse is I know that the Taliban are going to not be good to women. I shudder to think what is going to happen and how lives are going to be changed and ruined and misery and all that stuff. And don't get me wrong. We knew going in that it's going to be very hard to change Afghanistan. The Russians got their asses handed to them. And now we're leaving. And we're going to leave in it. And what happens. You can only do so much to help a country be ready to protect itself. And when they're unwilling to do so, there's not a lot that can be done. But what can be done, and what I really hope and pray is done, is that we get those that helped us that are going to be in harm's way of this nasty, disgusting regime who is nothing more than brutal. I hope we get the people out that we promised we were going to take care of them. You can argue and you can talk about the 230,000 people that came across the border last month as something concerning. But if we can't get the 30 or 40,000 Afghanis out of the country that helped us over the past 20 years, we should be absolutely unequivocally ashamed for ourselves. I know this is a tech show, but you guys know my history. This show started when I was still active duty. So I got pretty strong feelings about what's going on. I'm not going to point fingers. History will figure that all out. But will I sleep a little less sound knowing that the Taliban's back in charge? Nope. One that got away might be the one that does something that affects my family or yours. So all we can do now is damage control. And I really hope that the current administration does as they say they're going to do and get all Americans out and get all of our, they're telling Americans now they can't get them to the airport. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't get them to the airport? They have to find their own way to the airport. Are you trying to get them killed? Saddle up. Saddle the infantry up. We've drove through these cities. They blew bombs up underneath us all this time. It's nothing new. Let's go get our people. And let's get them out. We got helicopters. We got everything we need. Let's go get them out. And the Afghanis, let's get them out. If we leave behind those that helped us in significant ways, the Taliban will just kill them. They'll slaughter them in the streets. They're saying, oh, we'll give you amnesty. Yet, right now, they have rounded up families and told them that they're exiled or their person in their family that was repatriated to the United States or wherever, telling them to come home or they will kill their extended families. Do you think they're going to give that person a pat on the head when they get home? Those people are damned if they do, damned if they don't. And I can't sleep real well about that. Should we have been there for 20 years? Not my decision. But I felt very justified in everything that I did while I was active duty. Have no qualms whatsoever. In my opinion, I don't think I have any PTSD. Thank God. Other people were not as lucky. But am I a little bit angry right now? Just a little. And been kind of stewing on this for a bit. And you watch the news, and the news has, their dumbed down version of this. But what really blew me away, I saw a video on TikTok, and it was a video of those Afghanis that were so desperate to get out of the country that they climbed on the side of an airplane and decided, very ill-advised, that they were going to fly out on the side of the airplane. Well, but just to see that video on TikTok, because that's the only place it survived, and I'm sure didn't survive very long. It didn't show the airplane taking off. But the desperation, when people are willing, just think about this logically for a second. When someone is so desperate and so scared for their lives to climb on the side of an airplane that's about ready to go to 35,000 feet, and you'd rather do that option than stay? Think about that for a little bit. That's what really got to me. That just, I just couldn't believe it. And there was no blood or gore. So maybe the guy that was taking it jumped off beforehand. Hope he did. But you're starting to see now on TikTok, the military guys that are over there putting up videos. And oh my goodness. So I've been following a bunch of my shipmates. Some are retired, some are still active duty. When watching their commentary on social media. And I think I'm not alone in this event. Now, my situation was much different than Army and Marines that were on the ground, that were the door kickers. They've got a whole different reaction here. So the military guys are ordered and told where to go, what to do, how to do it. That's what you sign up for. And you hope that what you're doing is for a just cause, to help people. But to see all that vanish, all that work, to free that country, maybe it was doomed from the beginning. Who knows? But, I saw time over Afghanistan. I saw time over Iraq. When I was serving, it was too early to be in country. So, my perspective's a little different. But at the same time, I supported people for a long time that were doing things over there that I'm sure many of them are wondering. It takes me back to a story. There's a book out there. It's called Not a Good Day to Die. And probably a pretty good book to read. Did the SEAL that died in that particular action, was it worth it? He's just one story of many, of thousands. Neil Roberts. And I've talked a little bit on the show about being interviewed for the Medal of Honor that two individuals got from a series of events. And those two men deserved everything they got. But, did the death of Neil Roberts and the others that died that night. Again, this is one story, one firefight. Was their sacrifice worth it? At the time? Based on everything I knew, yes. But to see what's happened over the past couple of days is very disheartening. So I don't want to take you guys down too hard of a road here. I apologize. You're part of the family here, and I just have to vent a little bit. I don't know what you feel. It pisses me off, though, when I see people make comments about We should have never been there in the first place. Really? Have they forgot? Have they forgot about 9/11? Really? Do we allow people to kill, mass murder our citizens and allow them to walk away from that scot-free? I say no. So again, for the time I served, I have absolutely unequivocally no regrets except for the one that got away. And who knows? Just one of those things. So, I'm just, the only thing I can hope for at this point is that whoever now is in charge will take a more moderate view upon the world. Maybe 20 years, things have changed, but I don't know. I don't know about that. You step back in time when you go into that country. It's a different thing. So I'm not blaming the president for getting us out. Not at all. That's not up for, but how we're going out is the thing I have a real Billy Joe badass heartburn about. So let's hope that we get as many as we can out. I mentioned when it's down in Nashville, I had a waiter one night that was from Afghanistan, from Kabul, and we talked a little bit and how long he'd been out of the country. And this is before this all went down. I'd sure love to have a conversation with him now to see how and what his reaction is. Interesting times we live in right now. And I really hope that there's some grown-up in charge that can straighten this stuff out. But I'm not hopeful. I'm really not. But this is the world we live. And if any of you want to email me confidentially and have your comments, if you email me about this and say, make sure you tell me whether or not you want your comments read on the show or not. I'd appreciate it. But I think I just had to. I don't have no one else to talk to that understands. Not really, in all honesty. And it's a tough situation. It's really a tough situation. It really, really is. And but here you think about this. The last time I was actually in combat operations was a couple of days before my 40th birthday. And that's quite a while ago. So my perspective is only up to about 2004. From a combat operations situation. You guys know what happened in mid 2004. I got hurt and grounded and couldn't fly anymore. So, my role changed significantly in mid 2004. And I went from doing one job to another. Not that it was less important, but had enough time. And maybe, again, the situation has changed dramatically over those years, but my God, unbelievable what has happened. Okay, let's move on. Let's get into tech. Did I lose you all during the show? Let's talk about, I'm in a mood to smash. So let's talk about Amazon. After helping decimate department stores, of course, Walmart added to this as well, Amazon plans to open its own with small, curated stores, and the company's taking a page from Trader Joe's. So it's looking for its next conquest. The move would represent a subtle shift in strategy for the e-commerce giant, though it is experimenting with its own brick-and-mortar locations. Amazon's few dozen currently branded stores tend to be small affairs. Its largest customer-facing real estate, Whole Foods, they bought through acquisition. I haven't been in a Whole Foods since Amazon bought Whole Foods. If Amazon follows through on its department store plans, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, it represents the company's biggest ground-up push into physical retail, a flagging but still massive sector on the economy. Lots of rental space available. They can probably get commercial space now 10 cents on the dollar. But don't expect Amazon to follow the steps of JCPenney or Macy's. But they're going to be looking at smaller stores on the order of 100,000 square feet. The Trader Joe's derivative here in my community is called Aldi's. And to be honest with you, the only thing that I like buying in Aldi's in this town is their chicken salad sandwich. Their chicken salad, comes in a container. And I'm not a big fan. Aldi's, I'm like, what's the, some of you like it. I don't understand it. Maybe mine just sucks. But so here we go. And then what's Amazon trying to do? They trying to compete with Walmart? Is that the plan? Don't know. FTC's going round two. They say Facebook has been a monopoly since at least 2011 in an amended antitrust complaint. So the FTC filed this amended antitrust complaint against Facebook, alleging the company violated federal antitrust lawsuits with its acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp. The new complaint is a more detailed version of a charge dismissed by a court in June for insufficient evidence. They say Facebook has today and has maintained since 2011 a dominant share of relevant market for U.S. personal social networking services. The company alleges citing time spent in active user metrics on the daily and monthly scale. Individuals and collectively, these metrics provide significant evidence of Facebook's durable monopoly power in social networking services. So we'll see what happens. They got until October 4th to file an amendment. And of course, the way our Uncle Sugar is working, this will probably get thrown out too. Is remember, if you work for the U.S. government, you're on the government scale. You can only get paid so much money. You can't be a highfalutin lawyer and make $500,000 or $1 million a year, as you could be an Amazon lawyer by being a government employee. No, you might make 100 if you're lucky. So it's not like lawyers and legal people that work in the U.S. government. They work there for a reason. So we'll see what happens. Did you get an email about a COVID stimulus from the FTC? Well, please delete it. It's a new phishing attack, promises coronavirus stimulus from the FTC in exchange, of course, for your personal information. Tells you they want some personal information like your name, address, date of birth. All they got to do is just buy the T-Mobile hack data. T-Mobile sent me a text today. Let me read it to you. It says in part, T-Mobile is determined. No, let me go ahead here and read the whole thing. T-Mobile is determined that unauthorized access to some of your personal data has occurred. We have no evidence that your credit card information was compromised. We take the protection of our customers seriously. We are taking action to protect your T-Mobile account, and we recommend that you take action to protect your credit. Read more here. And they give me a link to go to. And what do? What are they offering me? Okay, what are we going to do? What can we do? Oh, sign up for McAfee ID theft protection service free for 2 years provided by T-Mobile. I'll actually do that. I'm going to activate Scam Shield. And they got the ability to further protect your account. So at least they're doing some stuff. But yes, if you got a text message from T-Mobile today, yes. What else? Yeah, my personal information is all out there. The Chinese have got it all already anyway. They know my life story. So what else is new? So quit falling for these email scams. Please. I had my son have something happen the other day. And I'm like, I told him like 10 times, it's a scam. This is a scam. It's a scam. Don't tell them nothing. Hang up, block them. If they call you back, block that number. If they call you again, block the number. They're not using your Social Security number. It hasn't been used in a drug deal. Don't worry. The Social Security Administration doesn't call you. I had to tell my own son at least a half dozen times. It's a scam. He's 17. How come he can't figure it out? If he can't figure it out, it means lots of people are falling for this stupid stuff. The Social Security does not call you. The IRS does not call you. They will send you a letter. And usually when you get that letter from the IRS, you shudder because it's usually bad news. They want some documentation, or you have to pay them $8,000 or something to that effect. The Justice Department says facial recognition helped end an almost 15-year manhunt. So think about this one. This guy was in Austria. He opened a bank account. A fugitive who Justice Department official says had scammed more than 20 people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars was sentenced to 4 years in prison Friday after being on the run for almost 15 years. Austrian authorities were able to identify Randy Levin, 54 of Boca Raton, Florida, due to a facial recognition system, according to the Department of Justice, after he tried to use an alias to open a bank account, leading to his arrest in June of 2020. He fled the United States in 2005 after authorities seized his passport as part of an investigation. He got a new one because he said he lost it, and basically he's been on the run ever since. But they got him through facial recognition in Austria. So the Austrians had a database that had all these criminals in it, and they think they got a match. He'd almost gotten extradited a couple of times. So, I don't know how many years did he get? Did they say how much he got? He's sentenced to only 4 years. He's been on the run for 16 years and he got 4 years. That's an idiot. Cricket Wireless adds an ad-supported HBO Max to $60 per month unlimited plans. So it's a new perk for, Cricket Wireless is an AT&T prepaid system. So normally the $10 per month version of HBO Max that's what that normally costs, is included if you sign up for the $60 Cricket Wireless Unlimited plan. How many of you still love headphones with a cable? They're becoming far and fewer in between. But the folks over at Lifehacker have 7 of the best smartphones that still have the headphone jack. I did a little flip on you, didn't I? Not headphones, but 7 of the best smartphones that still have a headphone jack. Surprising, there's few. And actually, there's even fewer headphones that aren't Bluetooth these days. The Motorola Edge loses the curved display but adds 140 hertz refresh rate. The curved screen isn't part of the $700 Edge anymore, but buttery smooth animation should make up for that, according to Motorola. This is a $700 phone. For those of you in Australia, it's $975. So that tells you you're getting jacked. To tempt you even more, Motorola's running a deal where you can get an Edge for $500. That's $200 off. The Motorola Edge will commence free sale starting August 23rd and will launch on September 2nd. So if you're a Motorola fan, this will be available for you. Rick says Interpol keeps that database and any law organization can subscribe. It's probably true, but I guess the bank subscribes as well. So a little bit of science news. It's just right around the corner here. The Milky Way, yes, our Milky Way, not candy bar, out in space, has a 3,000 light year long splinter in its arm, and astronomers don't know why. They don't know what's going on the backside of the moon. How are we expected to know what's going on 3,000 light years away? Or, well, no, it's not. It's a 3,000 light year long splinter. The Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way spires out of galaxy center, forming a swooping highway of gas that spans tens of thousands of light years. This highway is dotted with the headlights of billions of stars, all seemingly moving along the same curved track. But now astronomers have found something unusual. A break in the arm, slashing perpendicular through the spiral like a splinter, poking through a piece of wood. Spanning about 3,000 light years, the stellar splinter makes up just a fraction of the Milky Way. Still, the newfound break is the first major structure to be discovered, disrupting the seemingly uniform flow of the galaxy's Sagittarius arm. So you science geeks out there, livescience.com. A policy group is requesting Apple abandon plans to scan devices for child abuse imagery. The groups are concerned the measure could censor protected speech. An international coalition of policy and civil rights group published an open letter Thursday asking Apple to abandon its recently announced plans to build surveillance capabilities in iPhones, iPads, and other Apple products. The group includes the American Civil Liberties Union, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, Access Now, Privacy International, and the Tor Project. So it's an interesting lineup of privacy-facing companies. General Motors is teams with AT&T to bring 5G to its vehicles in 2023. Why is this news? This should be by default. If you're going to put mobile in a car, it should have 5G. Why is this news? Slow news day, that's why. Facebook is selecting local journalists paid in a $5 million newsletter recruitment push. Facebook is choosing 25 local independent journalists to be paid out of a $5 million pot to write for its newsletter site Bulletin through multi-year deals, the company told Reuters on Thursday. So sounds like a good gig to be able to get hooked up on. Did you guys hear about this guy that was outside the Library of Congress today? He was live streaming his event with the Capitol Police. The man suspected of making a bomb threat, again in front of the Library of Congress, was on a Facebook Live for about 45 minutes before Facebook shut him down. The man broadcast the social network. He sat in his car surrounded by federal agents. He said his car would blow up if security shot through the window. Well, okay. He didn't have his hand on a trigger or anything, right? I guess they got this guy arrested, right? You know, if you want to die, if you want to, the Capitol is the last place you want to do anything like this. The chance of you getting shot are pretty high. You make a bomb threat in U.S. Capitol. So the man repeatedly said he wanted to talk to the president on the phone. Oh, please. And said he was making the threat on behalf of the people of Afghanistan. It's not the way to do it. Please do not let this guy be a vet. All right. Anyway, that's linked up in the show notes. So 45 minutes is how long it took them to take it down. Microsoft will raise Office 365 business subscription prices in 2022. This is the first major price increase for Office 365 since Microsoft launched it in 2011. So here's what the prices are going to be. Business Basic will go up to $6 per user per month from $5. Business Premium will move from $22 from $20. Office 365 E1 will be $10 instead of $8. Office 365 E3 will rise from $23 to $20. The premium 365 E5 tier will cost $38 up from $35. Again, I believe this is only going to be a business account increase. So I know many of you pay for Office 365 monthly on a family plan of some sort, so just be aware of that. A billionaire who bought SpaceX moon trip is selecting finalists to join him on the voyage. Japanese fashion tycoon Yusuke Mazawa has selected 20 finalists from over 1 million applicants who want to fly to the moon with him for free. And he says the last finalists are all artists of some sort or another. So he's going to make a final decision soon. He said, I didn't sleep for like 6 weeks going through the process. Let's just say going through the process and getting to each step is just crazy. Thinking I'm actually part of something so much bigger than yourself was a person that qualified for this. Oh, no. Oh, was one of the people in the final round. The 20 finalists would compete for 8 seats on the SpaceX flight. Also flying along will be a SpaceX employee, making a total crew of 10 to 12 people. That's pretty big. This crew will not land on the moon, but will fly around it. It will take them 3 days to reach the moon, less than 1 day to loop around it, and 3 days to return to Earth. So I'd do that. Why not, right? PayPal, but you're all going to be stinky by the time you get home. PayPal will no longer charge late fees for buy now, pay later purchases. I don't know what the reason for this. Those buy now, pay later product launched in October 20. Those buy now, pay later products launched in 2020 give the option to buy goods from participating online stores without having to pay up front or at all at once without incurring interest. When you choose the option at checkout, the U.S. PayPal will split your payments into 3 or 4 and will charge you every 2 weeks. So it's interesting. They're not going to longer charge late fees. So I guess they're going to prop it up. You a gamer? You've been looking for an NVIDIA video card? NVIDIA expects GPU supply constraints to last the majority of 2022. So good luck getting a card if you need one. It's a great, I don't know if I talked about it on the last show. There's a great like hour-and-a-half video of an interview with Elon Musk, broke into 3 parts. I think it's on the Astronomy Now channel on YouTube. If I got it wrong, I apologize, but great interview. You can just see Elon Musk. He's freaking genius. He's Albert Einstein reincarnate. It's a really great video. You can just see this guy, and all of a sudden, he's like, he goes off somewhere else, and then comes back. It's the guy's got a big brain. I'm just going to tell you. But SpaceX is announcing they're going to tweak Starship's forward flap design, says Elon. So exciting stuff happening in Boca Chica. I think that's going to be a vacation destination at some point. SpaceX Elon Musk says there's a slight error with the current design of Starship's forward flaps, necessitating a few small but visible changes on future prototypes of the spacecraft. So they're going to make some tweaks. They probably did the flow analysis, the ion flow analysis, said, oh, this isn't going to work. So it's going to be interesting to watch this thing. No guarantee. Matter of fact, I think the first one they think is going to probably blow up on re-entry. They're not going to, those of you in Hawaii, on the first orbital run, they're going to land it out on the range somewhere, and they're going to bring it in and try to hover it before they set it in the water. But you might be in for a heck of a show if things don't go as planned on re-entry. Now, I don't know how far out of Hawaii it's going to be when it actually re-enters the atmosphere, but I think on that day, it might be a good day to have an eye on the sky and an eye on this live stream. You could be in for something on that. So Toyota, who made claims that they were going to be okay with the chip shortage, has basically said, "Oh, we're wrong. We're going to cut production by 40%." The world's biggest car maker had planned to make almost 900,000 cars next month, but has now reduced that to 540,000 vehicles. Volkswagen is warning that it may have to cut output further. So if you have a car right now, it's best not to sell it. Okay, it's best not to sell it because car prices are going to stay high for a while with this chip shortage. So just hold on to them. So you have to, thieves are pretty good, and when they're using some tech, sometimes they're pretty smart. And they may get away with something once, twice, but if they try to exploit something a third time, usually they're going to get caught. But these individuals attached an Apple Watch that was linked to one of the crew's AT&T account, and they put it on a vehicle that they thought was a drug runner. And basically, they traced this guy to a hotel, and when he came out to get in his car, they discovered a bag stuffed with $500,000 in cash. But they've done this a few times. It hasn't been discussed how they were caught, but those things. They report home. They call home to mama. But usually drug runners don't say, "Hey, I got ripped off for $500,000 in cash." They're not going to go to the police and report that, I don't think. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I guess they did it. So OnlyFans. How many of you are paying for supporting a fan on OnlyFans? Well, OnlyFans is going to bar sexual explicit videos starting in October. The popularity of the website has exploded to the point where they're earning almost let me repeat this, $2 billion. Sex workers were using OnlyFans to charge customers online. That's kind of interesting. But they're getting out of the porn business. Starting October, the company will prohibit creators from posting material with sexually explicit content on its website, which many sex workers use to sell fans explicit content. They'll still be allowed to put up nude photos and videos, provided they're consistent with OnlyFans policy. OnlyFans has attracted more than 130 million users. They're having trouble getting investors. Why do you need investors if you are earning $2 billion? Because they only not TikTok. OnlyFans only earned $400 million. They kept 20% of that $2 billion. The news disappointed some of the folks who've come to rely on OnlyFans. Sylphie, a 30-year-old from Dallas who declined to provide a real name, began posting OnlyFans a few years ago and relies on the site to pay her bills. On TikTok, many of these individuals refer to themselves as accountants in their job description. So, OnlyFans. Isn't that the purpose of the whole site? Tim says, I bet OnlyFans spins off an adult-only site. Too much money at stake. If you've cleared $2 billion, where's the problem? You need more money, and you made $400 million in 1 year. Wow. The Verge has a great email. If you've been following the Apple versus Epic trial, they put together, and God bless these folks, they went through 800 documents spanning 4.5 gigabits, And there's roughly 100 things they learned by going through those documents. It's a whole list. And some of it's pretty interesting. I'm not going to read them, but it just kind of lays it all out. So if you want to see all the juicy stuff, link will be up in the show notes, of course. In a growing battle with TikTok, Facebook is not going to be able to catch up. Facebook to test Facebook Reels in the United States. Facebook Reels. What's different between that and Facebook Stories? Facebook Reels will give Facebook users the ability to create short-form video content directly within the newsfeed or within Facebook groups. Okay, we'll see. So Facebook Reels is the latest thing. And finally, if you're living in one of these cities, Waukee, Iowa, Gallatin, Tennessee, Huntsville, Alabama, New Albany, Ohio, Edge Mountain, Utah, Stanton Springs, Georgia, Sherburne County, Minnesota. I already read this one. Jackson County, Alabama, Henderson, Nevada, Middle Lothian, Texas, Fulton County, Georgia, West Des Moines, Iowa, and Columbus, Ohio. Your cities have gotten screwed. Local governments are dangling hundreds of millions of dollars in tax rates for companies like Facebook, Google, and Microsoft to build server farms in their backyards. But the deals are shrouded in secrecy, and the average cost of $1 million in tax breaks per job raise questions about their value. How do I get my company a tax break like that? So this is an article on Forbes. It just shows you that money can move mountains, and local officials in these towns have lost so much money in tax earnings. It's simply incredible. Letting the rich get richer because, we want your data center here. Yeah, for 20 jobs. How about that? Okay. If you missed the beginning of the show, I had a little bit of rant about Afghanistan. Those of you that are watching the Facebook feed, after this thing shuts down, you can go back and play it. There's no rant, just thoughts. So, to my brothers and sisters out there that are hurting a little bit here about what has transpired over the past week, I'm there with you. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Kirk had a little family emergency. I pulled some additional duty today and pulled some additional stories for you. Not all of them will make it into the show notes. I'll try to get that all balanced out. But anyway, thank you for everyone. Thank you for all the insiders that are supporting the show. Yep, I know. I still owe you the Insider Podcast. It's been, I don't have time to breathe. Literally. So thank you for being here. Thank you for staying supportive. And those of you that are supporting GoDaddy, thank you so very much for doing so. And again, if you've been watching on one of the live streams, make sure you say hello, retweet, do whatever you need to do. And we'll be back with you next Monday for a regular show. I had to think what day it is. Yeah, it is Thursday. Be back with you next Monday for another edition of the podcast as we march our way to 1,600. It's going a little slower than normal, but I think you guys are okay with it. The numbers are still good. You're still here. Let's just keep the sponsors happy, okay? All right, everyone. Take care. We'll see you next time here on the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.